going into an apprenticeship, working with businesses, working with your hands, making things, is I draw on that even to today. It kind of set me up so that when I uncovered the creativity I never knew I had, it's helped me kind of relate and work with people in order to truly do work that people respond to. It helps to get out on the streets and talk to people and meet people in business and find out about them, not just what their problems are, but more about their lives and the way their businesses work as well. So my tradie background has come in incredibly handy, which when I began my career, I was actually embarrassed about.
Yeah, it's really interesting that. It just goes to show, and I guess over the journey that we pick up these skills and experiences and all sorts of things, and how they become useful down the track. Yeah,
the great South African creative John Hunt of Hunt Lascaris once said that in order to stay at the top of your game as a creative person, you need to constantly replenish your toolbox. And where that kind of feeds from is about if you take a bus, get off a step earlier and walk. If you don't like football, go to a football game. Sit amongst the people, listen to the noise. Go and see films that you don't like. Read magazines that are not the sort of magazines you would normally buy. Really kind of enriching and soaking up information from places that you would never go to. Because when you work in the ad business, you're often advertising products that you would probably never buy yourself.
Yeah, that's a terrific segue, because I really want to dig into, and the theme for our discussion is around sort of pop culture and staying relevant as an over 50s professional, and being able to, stay up to date with stuff. Creativity and curiosity, it's not just confined obviously to being a creative person in the ad industry, but in any business, an entrepreneur, a corporate professional. Creativity is it's the secret sauce, I think, for the success for a lot of people. So I guess the advice that you took many years ago about getting out amongst the people and seeing things that you wouldn't normally do and getting off one step earlier on the bus is really relevant, not just to advertising, but anyone in business.
Yes. There are some people who describe creativity as curiosity. I think you and I were chatting offline before we fired up this thing around the word curiosity as well. And I think curiosity is the word, really.
Yeah.
It's being it's being an interesting person who is interested.
Yes.
And that's interested in a lot more than maybe you would normally be.
I agree 100%. That's certainly a phrase that I've used, and it's something I've continued to sort of, I guess, I don't know whether I've developed curiosity or whether I'm naturally curious. I mean, I've got a journalism background, and I think journalists are naturally curious. So I'm a kind of a writer. You're a writer, so you're probably going to be naturally curious as well. Do you think it's something that you can develop?
Yeah, I think it's a bit like muscle memory, really. I can't remember who it was that said that the creative adult is the child that survived the school system. But there is definitely something in that, it's just, I don't know. It's a really hard one to say. But yes, I do believe it can be. So, when digital media started to kind of take hold within the industry at large, there was a lot of people who felt that advertising agencies, as we knew them then, were old-fashioned, old hat, and their primary problem was that they had a department that was called the creative department, because they believed that anybody could be creative, which is true. Everybody is creative, but people who can develop and come up with ideas under duress, on brief, on brand, with no money, no time, those are people that do it for a living, which is very different to kind of the way it's generally done.
Yeah.
But the curiosity thing, I think, is the key to everything. It's just being interested in stuff.
Now, I've known you for quite a few years now, from those early days of, we talk about the early days of digital media and social media and stuff like that. And you were an earlier adopter. I feel that you're an early adopter on everything, a lot of stuff digital. Mm-hmm. How important was that? When were you on Twitter, for example? Can you remember when you joined Twitter? I know I did it in 2007, and I'm sure we probably
that was how we met, I think, yeah. But so my kind of thing so we're going to talk about social rather than digital media.
Yep.
I've been doing digital since Rupert Murdoch coined the phrase "the information superhighway." So I was fortunate enough to kind of get in early there. But the whole concept of social media, I started. I took a sabbatical year. I was a bit burnt out from work. I took a sabbatical year in 04 or 05, I think it was, and taught at RMIT in the advertising degree. And one of the things I wanted to do was to bring new media, as it was known then, or digital, into the course, because there didn't seem to be a lot of it. It was very much rooted in the past when the industry was changing almost daily. And so I developed up a course where all of the kids, as we'll call them, they're probably a bit old to be kids, but they were kids to me, where all the kids would do their work each week and post it onto a blog. And then it meant that with the commentary that they could comment on each other's work to help them grow. So it helped them learn to evaluate ideas, see what people were thinking, and start conversations. And then after I left that, and in order to do that, I thought, well, I need to kind of know what I'm doing here. I can't just tell kids go and start a blog when I don't have one. So I started a blog. And through that blog, I met many, many people through the commentary, through the advertising industry. So it broadened my kind of network of people. And so I was aware of Twitter, but at the time, I'd say in its early days, it was very much pushed as the I'm having a cheese and ham sandwich for lunch, or I'm off to get a coffee. And I was up in Sydney, so this would have been 08 coming into 09, where I went to Gavin Heaton's legendary and still running to this day Friday Creative Breakfast, where I met a couple of people who spoke to me about Twitter and changed my thinking on it. And so I then went and tried it. So that would have been 08, maybe 09. And I'm still there, and you probably can't see my phone here, but you'll look in the bottom corner. You can't really see it, but I still have the Twitter icon on Twitter as well. I will never switch it to X unless Elon ruins it anymore, because to me, I think Twitter has been a life changer. Yeah. I've met many friends through Twitter. I've learned a lot through doing it, and I've built a network of people that I chat with regularly, and I'm really love having that. So I'd hate to not have that.